Hi everybody! Hi everyone! My voice doesn't sound weird, does it? I had to use a special software for this stream and I feel like I sound so strange, but I think it's just the feedback in my ears. Oh, okay, good. Okay, good. As long as it's just to me and it's not to you guys, then I guess we're good. Welcome in. Welcome on into probably one of our most cursed streams to date. I sincerely hope this is like the first time I've actually put a content warning on my streams because I don't want to get got. Archer! Oh my god, Archer, thank you so much for the tier 3. Thank you so much for the tier 3. For 31 months subscribed, thank you. I sound ever so slightly over 4. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Archer. Kitsune. Kitsune, thank you so much for the 10 community gifted. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for hitting the stream goal. Thank you, thank you. Wow. That's really, really kind. This sounds like you're using mono audio. I'm actually gonna turn off the hear. There we go. I'm gonna turn off the hear myself for a sec. The reason why I have it turned on to hear myself is otherwise there's a delay and I'll start to slur my words. But the hear myself function, you can hear everything, like the fan. You can hear if a bug crawled across the floor, you could hear it. It is so sensitive in my ears. So that's why I'm preferring to have it on. But as long as it's not bothering you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Archer, for the tier 3 and Kitsune for the 10 gifted. I have with me a very, very cursed book that we're gonna read. Everybody's stories from tonight. You like the book? I'm glad you like the book. I'm pretty happy with the book myself. Welcome on in, everybody. It's good to see you. Hi, Lunar. Hi, Kitsune. Hi, Yar. A terrible day for the senses, indeed. Indeed, indeed. Hi, Ryugan. Hi, Denya. Hi, Lerp. Hi, Albert. Hi, Couch Pilot. Hi, EB Mushroom. Welcome back. I hope you have a nice sleep here. Hope everyone is doing great. Yeah, it's a tome of forbidden knowledge. Very, very forbidden. It's also not too late. If you do have a fanfic you'd like me to read, you can always DM it to me. If it's something silly, I also have, so I have employed the assistance of a bleep button. So I'm actually gonna test that out right now, guys. Alright, can you guys hear me say this? Oh, hell yeah. Could you hear the bleep though? Okay, as long as it sounds like something. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. Oh, that's just perfect. I love it. I love it. Okay. A lot of these fanfics are pretty bad, so I might not be able to read certain parts to stay within Twitch TOS, so that's why we got the bleep. That's why I've got the bleep. So I've got a name to put on the model. I've got Archer for the tier 3, and I've got Kitsune. Give me 1 second to do that, and then I'm not sure what our first story is gonna be. Okay, I have one for Kitsune for 10 gifted that I'll put. Oops. I moved my book. Hold on. My book was supposed to be locked there. There we go. And then for Archer, we've got, oops, technology isn't being nice to me tonight. And then one for Archer for the tier 3. Okay, that should be perfect. Just adding the finishing touches on it. Perfect. Oh my god, I'm so excited to read these tonight. It's gonna be so silly. It's gonna be so freaking silly. Okay, where is Archer? I know you were there. I know I had you. There you are. Thank you for the tier 3 resub. Wait, I need them to stick on the hat so that they don't move when I move my head. I know there's a spot like in the middle of my hat. I think that's probably the best. Okay, great. 2 wonderful names on my hat. Yeah, I put that there to cover me regarding the Twitch TOS. I'm sure they're all gonna be lovely and perfectly wholesome. Absolutely, absolutely. As we all know that fanfics often are. Let me just lock everything so that I don't accidentally click on and move anything. Will I read from my very, very cursed, I mean very wholesome book. But yeah, just feel free if you do want to send me one. If you think of one like halfway through, you can just DM it to me and I'll take a look. I'm not gonna read all of the ones in the suggestions, but I have picked some out. I also have some of my... I feel like I at least have to read a chapter of my Immortal. I have to at least read 1 chapter of that. But I think there were a couple that Zappel shared that I wanted to do. Hold on, I'm gonna choose between... Alright. Alright, I'm gonna start off with this one. Oops. Yeah, I'm gonna start off with half-life, full life consequences. There we go. Alright, that's the first one that we're gonna read. I don't really know much about Half-Life, so I'm sure it'll be even funnier. Here we go, here we go. Actually, wait. I need to make it better to read from this side of the screen. Okay. Alright, first fanfic, here we go. John Freeman, who was Gordon Freeman's brother, was one day in an office typing on a computer. He got an email from his brother that said that aliens and monsters were attacking his place and asked him to help, so he went. John Freeman got his computer shut down and went on the platform to go up to the roof of the building where he left his motorcycle and normal people close because he was in his office lab coat. Jordan Freeman got on his motorcycle and said, "It's time for me to live up to my family name and face full life consequences." So he had to go. John Freeman ramped off of the building and did a backflip and then landed. He kept driving down the road and made sure that there was no zombies around because he didn't have weapon. Singular. Weapon. He didn't have weapon. Singular. The countrysides were nice and the plants were singing and the birds and the sun was almost down from the top of the sky. The mood was set for John Freeman's quest to help his brother where he was. John Freeman looked around the countrysides and said, "It's a good day to do what has to be done by me and help my brother to defeat the enemies." John Freeman was late, so he had to drive really fast. A cop car was hidden nearby, so when John Freeman went by, the cops came and they wanted to give him a ticket. Here John Freeman saw the first monster because the cop was possessed and had head crabs. "I can't give you my license, officer," John Freeman said. "Why not?" said the head crab officer back to John Freeman. "Because you are a head crab zombie." So John Freeman shot the officer in the head and drove off thinking, "My brother is in trouble there," and went faster. John Freeman had to go faster like the speed of sound and got there fast because Gordon needed him where he was. John Freeman looked at road signs and saw Ravenholm with someone's writing under it saying, "You shouldn't come here." So John Freeman almost turned around but heard screaming like Gordon, so he went faster again. John Freeman drove in and did another flip and jumped off his motorbike, and the motorbike took out some headcrab zombies in front of John Freeman. John Freeman smiled and walked fast. John Freeman then looked on the ground and found weapons, so he picked it up and fired fast at zombie ghosts in front of a house. John Freeman said, "Zombie ghosts, leave this place." And the zombie ghost said, "Hey, this is our house." And John Freeman felt sorry for them because they couldn't live there anymore because they were zombie ghosts. So he blew up the house and killed the zombie ghosts, so they were at peace. Then John Freeman heard another scream from his brother, so he kept walking really faster to get where he was. Ravenholm was nothing like the countrysides. There was no birds singing, and the pants were dead. The pants. The pants were dead, and the dirt was messy and bloody from head crabs. When John Freeman got to where the screaming was started from, he found his brother Gordon Freeman fighting the final boss, and Gordon said, "John Freeman, over here." So John Freeman went to where Gordon Freeman was fighting. John Freeman fired his bullet from the gun really fast, and the bullets went and shot the final boss in the eyes, and the final boss couldn't see. Gordon Freeman said, "It's time to end this once and for all." Once and for all. And punched the final boss in the face, and the final boss fell. John Freeman said, Thanks, I could help, bro." And Gordon Freeman said, "You should come here earlier next time." And they laughed. So funny. They laughed over quickly. The laughed over quickly, though, because John Freeman yelled, "Look out, bro!" and pointed up to the top of the sky. Gordon Freeman looked up and said, "No!" John Freeman, "Run out of here as fast as you can." And John Freeman walked out real fast. He walked real fast out. John Freeman looked back and saw Gordon get stepped on by the next boss, and he was mad and angry. "I'll get you back, evil boss." John Freeman yelled at the top of his lungs. To be continued? It wasn't continued. They didn't make another chapter. That's it. That's the fic, guys. I know, but it hurts. I didn't even need to use the bleep in that one. Oh my god. I don't know what that was, but what a way to start out the reading. Crawling in my crawl. Oh my god. Oh, Kitsune sent me one. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna read this one next. Man and girl go out to drive under moonlight. They stop at a side of a road. He turned to his girl and say, "Baby, I love you very much." "What is it, honey?" "Our car is broken down. I think the engine is broken. I'll walk and get some more fuel." "Okay, I'll stay here and look after our stereo. There have been news report of stairs being stolen." Stairs being stolen. Good idea. Keep the doors locked no matter what. I love you, sweetie. So the guy left to get full for the car. After 2 hours, the girls say, "Where is my baby? He was supposed to be back by now." And then the girl hear a scratching sound and a voice say, "Let me in." The girl doesn't do it, and after a while she goes to sleep. The next morning she wakes up and finds her boyfriend still not there. She gets out to check, and man door hand hook car door. I thought I was having a stroke. I was like, something happened in the middle here that I missed. So the guy left to get full for the car. It was my favorite part. I'm not sure if it has a title, Yar. Kitsune sent it to me. It looks like a post that someone made. It's a 4chan shit post. It was very random. Thank you for your contribution. I appreciate it. What else do we have in here? What else do we have? I think I'm gonna do... Okay, we have a Harry Potter, Gordon Ramsay crossover. Harry Potter and the lack of lamb sauce. Hold on, I'll type it out. It does sound like a YouTube poop title. Some things are better left in the 2000s. Chapter 1, Hell's Kitchen. Harry took Dumbledore's arm. At a flash of contorting limbs and frenetic sounds and colors, they had left Privet Drive and appeared on another street corner. This street looked nothing like the Dursleys. Pristine, conservative neighborhood. From the look of it, Harry would guess this was an exclusively wizarding neighborhood, judging by the off-kilter angles of the houses, the flocks of the owls, the local apothecaries, and the robe shops, and the roads that resembled and rippled just like murky green lake water. Harry followed the Hogwarts headmaster as he started off up the street, glancing at him with a questioning eye. Dumbledore smiled wryly. Welcome to Wandsworth Green, Harry, he said serenely. This entire community sits on top of a small lake in the Muggle neighborhood of the Wandsworth Common and is hidden by very powerful concealment spells. Normally one can only enter it by stepping onto certain patterns of planks on the bridge that goes over a part of the lake. But I thought that apparition would be more efficient given the circumstances. Harry frowned. Circumstances, sir? Dumbledore led him past the apothecary and toward the end of the street. We're here to try to recruit our newest professor. I anticipate, however, that he might be a bit reluctant. Ah, here we are. They had approached a restaurant. At first, Harry was alarmed at the sight of it, for it looked like it was on fire, but after a second he realized there was no danger. The ceiling was simply decorated with constantly raging but perfectly contained magical flames, as well as a header in neon red lights. Hell's Kitchen. Okay, that was too hot for me. I need water. Gordon always did have an inherent flair for the dramatic, Dumbledore commented serenely upon noticing Harry's quirked eyebrow. The two pushed open the door to find an empty dining room. Harry could see on the door that dinner hours had ended not too long ago. Just inside was a young man a little older than Harry, with a large nose bussing tables with a magic rag that moved over the wood and back into the man's hand by itself. He looked up, immediately putting on a customer service mask that made it clear that he'd said this exact thing 1,000,000 times. Excuse me, but the restaurant is closed. He stopped abruptly, however, when he recognized the people who had entered the restaurants. Professor Dumbledore! Good evening, Beau. Dumbledore greeted pleasantly. You're looking well. I presume Gordon is just helping with the kitchen cleanup. Ah, yes, Professor, said Beau anxiously. He shot a glance at Harry. He looked incredibly uncomfortable and he kept licking his lips. Shall I go fetch him for you? If you would, Dumbledore said indulgently. The man called Beau gave a weak little nod. Then, glancing over his shoulder and back at Harry again, he bustled off towards the kitchen. Harry looked at Dumbledore confusedly. He knew the defense against the dark arts job was always very hard to fill, but from the sound of things, this teacher that Dumbledore was seeking out was a cook in some restaurant. It wasn't like Harry underestimated him because of this, but all of the other professors, excluding particularly bizarre oddities like Umbridge, usually had a background in teaching or fighting against the dark arts. Even Lockhart had a misleading reputation of being talented in fighting dark creatures. A raised voice came from the kitchen, but Harry couldn't quite make it out. A moment later, a tall man with a square face, blonde hair, and very sharp blue eyes came stomping through the door of the kitchen. He wore a white chef's uniform with the sleeves rolled up and still had a kitchen knife in one of his strong fists. Dumbledore, the chef said coldly. So you did choose to show your monkey's arse of a face here. As always, Gordon, your language is delightfully colorful, Dumbledore replied, clearly not offended at all. Wait, how do I even do the rat redeem? Okay, there we go. Don't bullshit me, the man called Gordon swore angrily. Oh, sorry. The man called Gordon swore angrily. If you've come to try and recruit me, you've got another thing coming. I frankly don't know how you've kept up the loyalty of half the people who work for you with your up attitude toward human life. Now pick up your feet and get out of my restaurant, you blasted numpty. He stopped abruptly, however, at the sight of Harry, just behind Dumbledore. Harry, may I introduce Gordon Ramsay? Dumbledore said calmly. Gordon, I believe you're already familiar with Harry Potter. Harry's face had been scrunched up in shock and righteous anger, but his temper cooled when Dumbledore spoke. Ramsay's expression likewise seemed to clear at the sight of Harry. There was something almost guilty in his face. "Yes," he said lowly. "How do you do?" He extended a hand to Harry, who took it out of obligation but refused to shake it. Ramsay's mouthing off to Dumbledore had left a sour taste in his mouth. "Hello," he said stiffly. Ramsay offered a faintly wry smile. "I must apologize for my language. Though I dare say you know it all by now, I try not to swear. My hand unfortunately just gets forced by certain individuals." He shot a cold look at Dumbledore. How long is that list of individuals, Gordon?" the headmaster asked lightly with a twinkle in his eye. "Forgive my vanity, but I would much prefer to be among the elite in such a category." Ramsay shot him a bewildered, disgusted look. "Vanity I can forgive. It's everything else I can't stand." Dumbledore chuckled. "As I feared, you're still as stubborn as ever. Very well, Gordon, I concede. May I use your facilities before we go?" Ramsay crossed his arms, still holding the knife in his fist, and glared at Dumbledore suspiciously, but curtly inclined his head in a single nod toward the restroom of the back of the dining hall. "Thank you," said Dumbledore. With a swish of his lilac robes, he turned and disappeared through the red restroom door. There was a short, palpable silence between Ramsay and Harry for a moment. Then Ramsay unfolded his arms and faced Harry with a much more pleasant expression. "Are you hungry?" Harry blinked. "What?" "Are you hungry?" Ramsay repeated patiently. "We have some food left over from our meals today. Beef Wellington, pumpkin soup, chicken cordon bleu with the braised potatoes. I usually have my servers take it all home for after dinner so that we don't waste anything." "Oh, no, I'm fine." Harry dissented firmly. Unfortunately, his stomach rumbled loudly as he said it. Ramsay smiled. "Well, at the very least, I've got to let you taste my mint chocolate truffles. They're my specialty." He pulled out a chair for Harry before setting down in another chair on the other side of the table. With a wave of his hand, his knife dissolved away into an unusually thick and long silver-tipped wand, and Ramsay waved it at the kitchen door. In an instant, a small plate came floating out of the kitchen and landed delicately on the table in front of Harry's chair. There were 5 small chocolate balls arranged neatly on the plate. "Go on, try one," Ramsay said gently. Still feeling reluctant, Harry slowly settled down in the chair and took one of the chocolate truffles from the plate. "Thank you," he mumbled. He popped it into his mouth. All at once, it was like his taste buds were swirling in a sea of creamy chocolate and cool, refreshing mint. It was delicious. The happy surprise must have shone on Harry's face, for Ramsay smiled more widely. "You like it?" "Yeah," said Harry. "It's really good." "Well, thank you. I hoped you would." He picked up one of his truffles himself, turning it over in his hand as he studied it carefully. "When your parents got married, I sent them a whole box of these," Ramsay said absently. Harry was startled. "You knew my mom and dad?" Ramsay put the truffle down with a sad smile. "Yes. They're both quite a bit older than me, and I was too young to join the order during the war, but I played Quidditch against James for a year at Hogwarts. And I knew Lily through Professor Slughorn's old slug club. He was head of Slytherin House and potions professor back then. Old Codger loved to collect children that he could mentor and then receive favors from once they were successful. A pleasant enough chap, I suppose, but a bit materialistic for my taste." Harry frowned. "Well, if he was a Slytherin, then I guess that's not surprising." "Easy now," Ramsay reproached gently. His tone was much less sharp. Honestly, since he'd started talking to Harry, Ramsay's tone had gained a wonderful down-to-earth, patient quality that reminded Harry of Lupin. "Don't give in to that silly old Gryffindor notion that all Slytherins are rotten. Every Slytherin, like every other student, is like a fresh tomato, full of potential, but also ripe for spoilage and bruising. That's why we must treat them gently, keep them well washed, partner them with others, then transform them into something amazing." Harry considered Ramsay carefully. You sure didn't treat Professor Dumbledore very gently. Ramsay turned a bit more solemn. The headmaster isn't a student. He's a professor and a fully trained wizard with a lot of influence. Yet he makes it a point to hire many substandard teachers. Not Minerva, Phileas, or Pomona, clearly, but they deserve better than the partners that they've been forced to contend with. Dolores Umbridge. A perfect monster of a woman. She should be down at the bottom of a well, not in a classroom with children. Gilderoy Lockhart? I knew him at Hogwarts. That dim-bulb trollop is so pathetic, I dare say a Cornish pixie is braver. Harry snorted, remembering Lockhart's eventful first class, where indeed Lockhart was taken down by a swarm of pixies. And that's not even touching Severus Snape, growled Ramsay. How Dumbledore found it in his heart to hire him, I'll never know. Harry had to nod in agreement. I don't know why he hired him either. I know Snape was a Death Eater, and Professor Dumbledore said he turned spy for the Order before the war was over, but I still don't trust him. Ramsay raised his eyebrows. And why is that? Harry didn't know where to start. Snape's bullying of him and his friends, his loathing of Gryffindor House overall, his blatant favoritism of Malfoy, his shady behavior. It was something that felt like it'd take forever to explain. It is complicated, Harry said at last. Ramsay looked like he was thinking. Do you like potions, Harry? The question was abrupt. Not really, answered Harry. I mean, it's kind of hard to like it when you got Snape breathing down your neck while you work, taking points from Gryffindor for no reason and putting up all the Slytherins on a pedestal. This seemed to get Ramsay's attention. He does that? He asked, sounding both dismayed and sympathetic. The tone encouraged Harry to go on. Yeah, you should see how he treats us. If anyone gets one little thing wrong, he uses to shame them, and sometimes the whole class. Like one time he was picking on Neville Longbottom. He's a friend of mine in Gryffindor for his shrinking solution being wrong, and Snape decided that he was going to feed Neville's potion to his toad Trevor at the end of the class to see if it would work. Ramsay looked outraged. See if it would work. Shrinking solution can be deadly poisonous if brewed incorrectly. To threaten to poison a student's pet when you're supposed to be teaching him. Unbelievable. Harry continued. He felt vindicated in a way he'd never felt in a long while hearing Ramsay's reaction. He picks on Gryffindors mostly, but he bullies Neville a lot. He doesn't like me very much because of my dad, so he doesn't like my friends much either. There was this one time my friend Hermione, she's the brightest girl in our year, was trying to answer one of his questions, and Snape snapped at her that she was an insufferable know-it-all and made her cry. Ramsay looked disgusted. He'd brought his hands up to his face, covering his eyes and massaging his temples. Good God. The door to the restrooms abruptly opened. Harry jumped, startled, as Dumbledore strode back over to them. Ah, much better, the headmaster said smoothly. Well, Harry, I suppose we've taken too much advantage of Gordon's hospitality. It's time for us to move on. Harry immediately got to his feet. Ramsay stood as well, his face abruptly turning much harder as he faced Dumbledore again. Dumbledore, he growled, if you want me for that position, then I expect to be able to do things my way. Harry gaped. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say gasped. But Harry gaped. After all that, he was going to take the dark arts job? But of course, Dumbledore replied pleasantly, and I expect that you'll keep your stupid broken nose out of my business while I fix this mess you've seen fit to make, Ramsay asked, his voice rising as he got right up in Dumbledore's face. Duly noted. Dumbledore helped himself to one of Ramsay's truffles with a smile. I look forward to seeing you when the term starts, Professor Ramsay. With this, Harry and Dumbledore left the restaurant. Professor? Yes, Harry. I don't understand, Harry said slowly. This entire time we were here, Ramsay acted like he hated you, and then, after I told him about Snape and his classes, he decided to take the job. Why? Gordon has an incredibly strong moral compass, Dumbledore answered simply. It's a trait that makes me wonder if he could have been an excellent Gryffindor at school. Though, of course, Gordon has said that he's very content as a Hufflepuff and colorfully told me where I may put my thoughts regarding his sorting. Regardless, if there's one thing that can convince Gordon to take on a project, it's incompetence on someone else's part. Harry blinked. Wait, so he took the job because I told him Snape was a bad teacher? And he knows that he can be a better one. Dumbledore confirmed with a nod, his blue eyes twinkling. Although your method is not exactly one that I would encourage, I had a feeling that you and Gordon might find enough common ground, that your presence might be enough to sway him. Once they'd walked a couple good feet from Hell's Kitchen, Dumbledore extended his arm again. Come, Harry, the night awaits. Still feeling faintly bewildered, Harry nonetheless took hold of Dumbledore's arm, and the two disappeared once more. The end. How many chapters? There are 99 chapters. Just so you guys know, we could read 99 chapters of this. Harry Platter. I hope you guys enjoyed Harry Potter Gordon Ramsay crossover. By the way, gape is an actual word. It is. I just don't think that they meant to use it. I just don't think they meant to use it there. Okay. I think I'm gonna do... I think we're gonna bump over to... Oh my god, how much am I gonna have to use the bleep button for Sonic High School? Oh my god. Okay, what words am I not allowed to say? What words are too dirty? Like... Hold on. Oh my god, okay. Wait. I'm gonna cry reading this, guys. Hold on, I need to move my water. Sonic High School features Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Rouge, Espio, and more in a crazy high school drama, passionate romances, and crazy cliffhanger and endings. It is known as the most addictive story. Why are you taking my glass? The most addictive story online, and it is the ultimate Sonic history about high school. This story contains no graphic descriptions, and all students are 18 years old. This is a re-upload of the original. Why are you taking my hat? Why is my hat gone? Now I'm hatless. Hey Tiff, I'm doing a special stream that I promised where I would read bad fan fiction. How are you? I guess it is different. It's different. It's not ASMR. And it's not Hollow Knight. Oh my god, there's so much happening right now. There, I'll put that... I want my innocence back. If you never dived into the fan fiction, you definitely don't need to now. Finish your game for the night. I hope that it went well. I don't know how to even start this story. I'm gonna have my bleep button here on ready. Author's note. Wow, one day I woke up and I got an email from this website saying that my story was taken down for containing copyrighted content. It doesn't do that. It's my story and I wrote it. Pissed to the extreme. I said whatever and then forgot about it for a few years, but today I am re-uploading it. Sonic High School, Chapter 1, Sonic's Journal. Oh no. Sonic woke up and looked at the clock. 7 a.m., it said, and Sonic screamed. I'm late for school. I have to get to school now, said Sonic, jumping out of bed. Sonic put his clothes on really fast and ran out of his room because he's fast. No time for breakfast, said Sonic as he ran past Sonic's mom. You'll regret this, said Sonic's mom, leering at him from the kitchen stove, wearing aprons and oven mitts on her hands. Sonic did not care. He was late. Sonic ran outside and ran to the bus stop where people were getting on the bus. Tails! Knuckles! Wait for me! Said Sonic as he ran towards the bus. Hey Knuckles, it's Sonic, said Tails to Knuckles at the bus stop. He is late, said Knuckles to Tails before getting on the bus. Sonic ran so fast to the bus and he got on the bus after Tails. Just in time, said Sonic, huffing and puffing like he was doing the Cupid shuffle for the first time. Sonic sat down next to Tails, and Knuckles sat behind them, taking up both seats. I'm so bad, said Knuckles, laughing because he sat where two people could sit. I didn't expect that to get me. Turtle, thank you so much for the 29 months. You're here to fight me. You're here to fight Swole Bye. I have the power of Sonic on my side. Turtle, come fight me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for 29 months. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Knuckles did this every day and no one bothered him, but they all knew it was against the rules of both man and God. The bus started and drove at the school and parked and they got out. I just want to take a moment to admire how they managed to circumference the bus starting, driving to the school, parking, and them leaving in one sentence. The bus started and drove at the school and parked and they got out. We're at school now, said Tails. It's time to go to class. Sonic was also at school, so he went to his first class of the day, English class. Sonic does not like English very much, but he didn't like any class very much that was not about running and going fast, which is what Sonic does best. Sonic got to his class late and sat down in his seat. It's journal day, said Sonic's English teacher, Mrs. Lesson. Mrs. Lesson was tall and white and had gray hair, and she was not pretty. Take out your journals and put them in a pile, and I will read one of your entries to the class. Sonic took out his blue journal, of course it was fucking blue, and ran to the front quickly and put his journal on her desk and ran back to his desk, with his head down and not talking or looking at anyone. Sonic was so fast, and then he did it first, everyone else did it afterwards and slower. Mrs. Lesson grabbed a journal from the pile and Sonic knew it was his because it looked just like Sonic's journal. Sonic knew this because he had written it so many times and it was crazy. Mrs. Lesson opened to a totally random page and it was the worst page she could pick. She began to read. Dear Journal, I called the doctor today about a problem. I have a problem with my balls. They are itchy and it is difficult to sit still with them because they are so itchy. I have to back up against stucco surfaces and rub up and down on them to relieve the itchiness. No creams have worked. Creams only make my sweat smell like the breath of a thoroughbred, and I think Amy, my girlfriend, noticed. I hope my doctor calls. Love, Sonic. Oh no, stop reading, said Sonic. But he reacted too late because it was already read, all of it. Even the class laughed and Sonic felt like an idiot asshole because now everyone knows all about his problems. Sonic felt his rage build up inside of him like a pool of lava in a volcano. Stop laughing at me! Don't tell anyone! shouted Sonic, but everyone was laughing so loud that they did not hear him. And Sonic was just embarrassed and mad and sad, but more embarrassed, so he ran out of the class fast. Sonic ran to his locker and he opened it and screamed into it. He screamed, "This sucks!" And curse words too, like and. "What is the problem?" said Tails. "Are you mad?" said Tails. Sonic was mad, so he nodded. "You should tell everyone that it's okay to have problems with your and that they probably have problems that they do not want everyone to know about too, so stop laughing at me." Sonic thought Tails was right because Tails was smart. Knuckles was there too, so he said, "Hey Sonic, what's this I heard about that you're having problems with your and your Sonic was so mad again, so he punched Knuckles and ran away quick. Where Sonic ran to was his next class. It's now second period, so it was okay. And the class was history class. Sonic did not care about history class. "Hey Amy," said Sonic, "check me out." And Sonic did a dance move. "Wow, cool, let's kiss," said Amy, and Sonic and Amy kissed right there in the class, and some other people in the class watched, but the teacher wasn't there yet, so they didn't get in any trouble. And who is gonna tell Sonic he can't kiss his girlfriend in class? Amy kissed Sonic so hard that he was thinking, "Let's have," but he really didn't say it because the teacher would show up, and by the time that they started to have in history class, Sonic kissed back really hard, and it was very to everyone. The teacher arrived and did class, but Sonic just looked at Amy the whole time, who was sitting next to Rouge. Amy and Rouge talked, and they looked at Sonic sometimes and laughed. Sonic thought Amy was telling her about how awesome Sonic kissed her, but it was not. Rouge was telling Amy about Sonic's problems, and Amy was Sonic's girlfriend, but she thought it was just the funniest thing ever. Class ended and Sonic went to Amy quick, and he did not stop along the way. "Hey Amy, why do you go telling Rouge about how hard we kiss?" said Sonic with a smile on his face that meant that he did not care that Amy did this and wanted her to because it made him look cooler. "Actually, Rouge was telling me about the problems with your and your that everyone else found out about it in your English class." Wow, was Sonic surprised. He really didn't know what to say. Oh my god. What the fuck? What the fuck was that? That was easily the worst one so far. I have no words. I'm so sorry if you stumbled into a Violet Spellcraft stream tonight. I swear they're not normally like this. They're not normally like Oh my god. That was awful. I need more. Honestly, I kind of want to read another chapter of it. Maybe we can switch to something else though, and then maybe read that one again later. You sent me another one, Raze? Okay, I'll take a look. I know Yara also put one in too. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, absolutely. It's so short though. Wait, why do I have to sign in with Google? I have to sign in with Google to look at this Wattpad. Oh, it's making me... I think it's making me, log in to Wattpad because it won't let me continue to the next part. Hold on. Sign in with Google. Violet Spellcraft email. Yeah, I guess I've got a Wattpad account now. You open it, you know, it forced me to do it. It says you can't read more than this little bit. Okay, I signed up. Please check this box. Okay. Okay. This username is already taken? No, it's not. Absolutely not. That's gotta be a mistake. That's so weird. It just won't let me sign in with Google. Somebody like straight up stole my name on Wattpad. I'll try to open it in incognito instead. Because new private window. It wouldn't let me sign up. And even when I did try to sign up. Oh, how do I go back to part 1? Now I'm on part 2. Yeah, it lets you read it and continue to the next part, but it doesn't let me go back to the previous part. Chapter 1, okay. Alright, I'll keep that one. I'll do Yars next, if I can find it. Wait, where is it? It took me to a Reddit thread. Oh, it's like images? Oh, I see. Okay, this one is Diary of a Wimpy Kid fanfiction, Breaking Greg. Okay. Let's read that one. Now that I got it up and moving. Thursday. I found this in my closet the other day, and it made me very nostalgic. So much has changed since middle school. I'm now a junior in high school. Dad left the house, and Mom is an alcoholic who doesn't even know who I am. Roderick is currently in jail for murdering Manny. The little shit deserved it. Roderick should be freed, if only I could do something about it. Friday. I was at school today and something crazy happened. A meth lab was discovered in an old storage room. 3 seniors were running the whole thing and distributing it across the school. I had heard rumors about it, but I didn't think that it was real. These guys have been doing it for 2 years now. They even managed to get in during the summers. These guys over the course of 2 years had managed to make $200K each. I could really use that money. But I've got no one to talk to about it. Those idiots got caught and are going to jail for a long time. Saturday, I was driving back from GameStop with a new Twisted Wizard game. And I had a weird craving for a smoke. So I parked at the gas station and I talked with Roderick's old bandmate, Bill, who works there, and he hooked me up. I went to the alleyway and I saw Fragley shooting heroin. I kind of felt bad for him because he was one of the main distributors in the meth lab and he lost his main source of income. I went up to him and I said, "Hey, I heard what happened with the meth lab. I'm sorry for what happened." He walked up to me slowly yet menacingly and said, "Those idiots were nowhere near careful enough for that thing to work out. It was only a matter of time." That's when it clicked. Fragley was the ringleader, and those 3 boys were just his workers. He was the mastermind behind the lab, and without thinking, I quickly said, "I want to make meth with you." And with that, Fragley said, "Meth, huh? If you want to make meth, prove your worth. Make me a pound of your own meth, and I'll decide if it's worth my time or not. You have 1 week, now leave my sight before I change my mind." So I left the alleyway with one thing on my mind. I had to learn how to cook. Monday. This is a lot harder than I thought. I've been up for the last 36 hours trying to cook this stuff. Hell, I'm even missing school for this. It's extremely difficult. Fragley didn't give me any tips either, so I'm going based on my own knowledge. I've tried combining so many different things to no avail. Well, I gotta get back to it. I'll write again soon. Wednesday. Eureka! I figured it out. I've done it. After 4 days straight of working, I discovered the perfect cooking method. Now I've just gotta find Fragley. Friday, I finally gotten to rest. I'm ready to find Fragley, so I went back to the gas station because I knew I'd find Fragley there, and I was right. He was stealing some Freon in the alley behind the gas station. Ha! Freon was nothing compared to what I was about to give him, so I went up to him and I gave him my meth. Fragley inspected it for a long while, and then he put it in his meth pipe. He lit it up, and before I tell you what happened next, let me provide some context. Fragley can get really hyper sometimes with sugar and stuff, and I've seen him get pretty hyper from some other drugs I've seen him smoke, but I have never seen him like this. The second he ingested the meth, this man was going wild. He was running around, and he was screaming bloody murder. He was screaming like, holy shit, this stuff is really good, I heard him scream. We can make something out of this. I was ecstatic. I couldn't believe it. Then Fragley said calmly, meet me at the abandoned warehouse tomorrow at 12. We're going to have a cooking marathon. Saturday, I woke up at 11 this morning. I was so ready to cook, so I went out to the store, got some energy drinks, had some snacks, because I knew I wasn't going to be back at home for a long while. I pulled up to the warehouse and I hid my car. I walked in, there was nothing there. Fragley had lied. That son of a He just made me think that my product was good. Just as I was about to walk out of the warehouse, I heard a little noise from the back corner of the warehouse. And then I heard a sliding metal thing. I look over and it's Fragley. He says, Gregory, get over here. We got some cooking to do. So he was here. And he had a meth lab under the building. I had to hand it to Fragley. This man knew what he was doing, but nothing could have prepared me for what I'm about to see. I went down, and boy was I shocked with what I saw. This man had an incredible meth lab. Literally everything you could dream for cooking meth was here. Now we just had to grind. After arriving and gazing for a while, Fragley walked up to me and said, Okay, Gregory, all you need to do is cook, and I'll watch you, and I'll replicate your recipe. I've got some little friends of mine who'll be doing the delivery work. You'll get 50% of the profits and I'll get 40%, and then my pawns will be getting 10%. Are those numbers okay with you? Then I said to him, Of course I'm okay with those numbers, but how much are we selling for? Then, what Fragley said next was a game changer. I know a guy who will buy it off of us for 15 pounds for $1 million. I was shocked. I did some quick math and realized I was going to make $500,000 for just 15 pounds of meth. There was no time for that, so we had to cook immediately. Monday. It's all here. $500K right in front of me, just for a little bit of work. It was too good to be true, and now I could cook whatever I wanted with all of our supplies. I wish I could just show somebody, and then I thought of it. Rowley. So I gave him a ring. He picked up and he said, Oh, hey, Greg. Hey, Rowley, I said. I got something super cool to show you. Come over. If I'd known what Rowley was going to say next, I never would have called him. Sorry, Greg, he said. I'm working with the DEA and we're in the middle of this huge case about a sudden increase in meth sightings. I couldn't believe it. Rowley was in the DEA. So I said as calmly as possible, Oh, it's okay. Good luck with your case. And then I hung up. I had a lot to think about. Next Monday, Rowley isn't on to me yet, but he knows that there is meth, and lots of it. Fragley and I have been cooking every day after school. All the old meth heads in the school are back to being crazy and excited. I always hear murmurs. Did you have that new stuff? I hear they're calling it the cheese touch, because once you get it, you can't get rid of it, and things like that. If only they knew it was just me that was making it, but I can't let them know my cover will be blown. There was one line that made me excited. Whatever Al Ploopy is doing with that meth, I hope he never stops. Al Ploopy. I could get used to that. Friday. We've got a pretty big problem. My crush, Holly Hills, is heavily addicted to my meth. I don't want her to die, but one of these days she's gonna OD. I think that I have to go speak with her. So I went to find her and I did. So I said to her, "Hi, Holly." Holly looked at me with her left eye twitching from the meth. "Hey, Greg," she said. Do you get any cheese touch?" I sighed and then did something I strongly regret. "Yeah, I do, in fact. I'm El Ploopy." Holly stared at me in shock. "Shit, I can't believe I just said that. You're El Ploopy? Give me some more meth and I can make it worth your while." Oh my god, Holly was trying to seduce me for meth. I had to take care of her. She could tell everyone I had to kill her today. After school, she took me behind the school and she started to passionately make out with me and then proceeded to give me. I enjoyed it, but I had to kill her. So I took her to my car and then I took her to a cliff and I gave her my special emergency meth, which makes you immediately. I took her outside and she smoked her meth. She quickly became unconscious, so I pushed her off. Hopefully the cops think it was an sign. I didn't want to kill anyone, but I had to. Hopefully I don't have to do it again. October. It's been a month since I became El Ploopy, and Fragley and I have already made 20 million. I think I have enough to break Roderick out, but Fragley tells me we have to keep working. I trust him, and I continue doing so. Rowley has no leads on us. Hopefully it can stay that way. Monday. I did something unspeakable today. I was on the way to the warehouse after school today, and there was a car that was following me. I checked the plate, and it was Rowley. Why? Why was he following me? I checked the plate, and it was Rowley. Well, I had to go somewhere else. I couldn't lead him to the lab. So I went to the same cliff where I killed Holly to camp out there for a while. But Rowley was still following me, so I parked and he parked too. He got out of the car and said, "Greg, I know you're El Ploopy now. I just need you to surrender and walk towards me." I couldn't believe it. How did he catch me? Well, now I know. I had to kill him. So I charged him. He fell to the ground with a thud. He was shocked. I had him pinned. Rowley begged for his life. "Please, Greg, after everything we've been through together." I said with tears in my eyes, "No, Rowley, you need to die. My brother needs to be freed." Rowley was bawling at this point. I took his gun and I him in the legs so he couldn't run. Then I went to my car and I got my and I his legs. He would die soon from the blood loss, but I should probably take him out of his misery. Rowley was screaming for help and crying. With tears in my eyes, I brought the to his throat, and his final words were eerie and familiar. "Don't call me. Don't come by my house. We're done." And after that, I his throat, and he was dead. I cried over his body for 30 minutes, and then threw it off the cliff and drove away. 5 months later, Fragley and I have managed to cook up $100 million worth of meth, and 50-40-10 deal leaves me entitled to $50 million. I don't understand why Fragley isn't allowing me to pay the price to free Roderick. I should have more than enough money. That's all I want, just to get this goal done and be done with it. I've hurt too many people. Holly, Rowley, going to their funerals, hurt because I knew it was me who caused the deaths. I don't know how much longer I can live with this pain. I just want Roderick free. He is all I have left. Well, besides Fragley, but he has a couple of screws loose. Maybe once this is all over, I'll turn myself in and I'll let Roderick be free, because it should be me behind bars and not him. Friday. I just don't understand what just happened. I have no words. Let me run you through it. I'm still processing it myself. A few days ago, a court case was scheduled for Roderick, and I'm not sure how, but I didn't question it. Everyone was there. All of our neighbors, even the Smellas. Mom dragged herself out of the house, and of course Roderick. He looked terrible, frail, new scars on his face, and he just looked tired. This is our chance. He could be free. I could pay the money. The case went on, and unfortunately for all of us, the evidence was against Roderick. The judge decided Roderick to be guilty. There was nothing I could do, and just as the gavel was going down, I heard a voice from the back of the courtroom. "Objection," it said, rather high-pitched. We all turned around, and once we saw who it was, we were all shocked, mortified, and confused. It was none other than that little bastard Manny. That little survived somehow and had kept it secret for over 2 years. I was so beyond angry. I couldn't hear anything, but according to the testimony I read online, Manny had said, "Roderick did not kill me. It was Eric Glick. He tried to kill me, but he failed. He left me to bleed out, but I survived. Roderick is innocent." The courtroom was silent after that, and the judge had 0 words. After a while of pondering, the judge raised his gavel and declared, "Roderick Heffley, you are hereby innocent." And this time, the gavel landed. Now what happened was a rush, and I hardly remember it. I got up and I ran towards Manny. Everyone was looking. I tackled that right on the ground and started pounding his face with my fists. "Why didn't you come back earlier? Why didn't you come back earlier, you little shit? You made Roderick go to jail as an innocent man." I was pounding his face and blood was coming out fast. He begged, "Please, Greg." I wanted to, I just didn't know how. "Bullshit," I said, and I continued to pound his face. At this point, people tried to stop me, but I had my in my pocket just in case. So I pulled it out and I said, "Nobody take another step or you will die." And they stopped coming in at that point. I had to hightail it out of there because the cops were coming, so asked him, Manny, one last time, "Why, Manny?" And he said it with struggling breaths, "I'm only 3. Right then and there, in that instant, I that in that between the eyes, and he was at last. But I had to get the out, so I ran out of that courtroom to my car, to the only place that I ever knew anymore. Tuesday. This is it. Something else has occurred, and I don't know how much time I have left. I can't even draw. I had been in the lab for a while now, but nobody had come for obvious reasons. The cops were looking for me, but they had no luck. But all of a sudden I heard a car pull up. Could it be Fregley? Could it be the cops? Not knowing the answer to my question, I hid. I heard the trap door of the lab open and somebody was coming down the steps. It was only one person. It must have been Fregley. So I went out from my hiding spot, but it was someone unexpected. It was Roderick. "Roderick?" I said. "How did you find the lab?" "Oh, Greg, it's been a while, hasn't it? I thought everything would work out, but I was wrong." "Now why'd you have to go and kill Manny?" Roderick asked. "Manny's a little shit who deserves to be dead. I have been cooking meth to try and free you, but he came and freed you anyway." "Oh, I know, Greg, I know. I know, I need all of that money," said Roderick, and then I realized that he pulled out a "Give it to me now." I was in shock. Why did Roderick have me at gunpoint? "Roderick, this has to be a misunderstanding. I cooked with Fregley, and we..." Suddenly a familiar yet altered voice said menacingly, "Oh, Gregory, you really are gullible, aren't you?" I turned to see who the voice belonged to, and it was Fregley. His voice sounded a bit different. It was pulsing with confidence and power. What the hell was he doing here? "Fregley, my brother, he has me at gunpoint. Help me, please." I thought Fregley would jump into action and save me, but no. Instead, he started laughing. "Oh, Gregory, I thought you were smarter than this. Do you think I wanted you? No, all I wanted was your brother. We made a long-term deal. He wanted you dead, but he wanted to get away with it. So he came to me. We came up with this diabolical plan to fake Manny's death and get your father out of the house with them. We offered a hefty sum of money to your mother and father to go along with our plan. Your mother pretended to be drunk and not care about you, and it worked. I was shocked, but Fregley wasn't done. Roderick also wanted to be rich, so I came up with the wonderful idea of cooking meth, and I started the meth lab in the warehouse and the fake one in the school to cover up the real one. Before your family put all that plan into action, Roderick gave me specific instructions to reveal the school meth lab in 2 years, and then the plan would begin. When it got revealed, I made sure to allow you to know how much my cronies were making. I them, and I convinced them that they were the ringleader and that this was the only lab. I knew the sum of money would get your attention, and you'd come crawling to me before long. I knew you'd come to the gas station to get a smoke, so I bribed Bill to give you my special cigarette pack. I made the cigarettes slowly implant my perfect recipe for cooking meth into your brain so that you would figure it out and think it was all your idea. I put all of the necessary items in your home so that way you would find them and make the meth, and all we had to do was cook for a couple of months and make bank. I continued to convince you that you didn't have enough money to break Roderick out. Well, I talked with your father and Manny, then after all this time, I scheduled the court case. I made Manny come to the police station and say that Roderick didn't kill me, I'm still alive. Then Roderick was freed. 2.5 years ago, I told him to lure you here when he got out so we could finish the job, and here we are. That was my diabolical plan now. Of all the 100 million that we made is all mine and Roderick's, and there is nothing you can do about it. Then it was over. I broke down. They tied me down and ingested some in me to overdose on so that they could make it look like I overdosed in an abandoned lab. They left me here to die. Goodbye, Gregory, said Fregley. Thanks for all of your help. Having a sinister laugh as he walked away with Roderick right behind him, I refuse for them to get away with this. They're gone, and I'm using my last waking moments to write this before I die. I can feel my eyelids getting heavy, and I know if I fall asleep, I'll never wake up. Please, someone find this and find Fregley and Roderick, and please tell the Jefferson family I'm sorry. Well, I'm all out of paper anyway, so I guess this is the end. What the heck? What, where did we just go? What happened there? Oh my god. What on earth was that? I couldn't look away though. Welcome everybody who has just come in. I hope you've all had a good day. I hope you're enjoying my bad fan fiction reads. This is an average Diary of a Wimpy Kid fanfic. I've never read one before. I didn't know what to expect. That was okay. It gets more fucked up as you go, and yet you can't turn away from it easily. Good lord. It's all shit posts. Fair enough. I think there was another there was another Sonic fanfic called Life at Pizza Hut. Also, if anyone has any suggestions at any time, you can let me know. You can send me the link and I will read it. Check the DMs before reading the one that I sent when you get to it. Oh yeah, I forgot I had that one. I actually had that one up and ready to read. I was gonna read that one next because I figured out how to get to the next chapter. Okay. This was the one I was going to read next. I forgot. So we'll do this one and then we'll do the Pizza Hut one. It's called One Heart. A Shrek. Oh my god. A Shrek and John Cena fan fiction. I think we can maybe like go down like that. No worries, Yar. Have a good one. Have a good one. That means I didn't check the DMs. No, I learned how to do that earlier, like how to do the drop down. Oh, I didn't read the second message. It's too late. Everyone knows it's a Shrek and John Cena fanfic. I'm sorry. John's POV. And his name is John Cena. The crowd went wild, cheering my name as I went in the WWE wrestling pit. There was a large and muscular man standing in front of me who I was supposed to fight. This is fine, I thought. You've been doing this for years. 3, 2, 1, take him out. I decided to do my famous knock them to the ground to make the crowd pleased. All of them were cheering for me, John Cena. I knew I was going to win. I brought them into the ground and I only knew one thing. And the winner is John Cena! The crowd went wild again. Everyone was cheering my name and had signs with my name on it too. It was no secret that I was famous. Hell, I was even on a fucking cereal box. I feel like my life's so perfect. I went backstage, where I had fan art and presents that my beautiful fans have got me. I looked around. There was awards of WWE wrestling matches I won and trophies for also a bunch of charities because I feel like I'm a great person. I am also a great actor because I played Fred's dad in Fred the movie. Good times. Good times. But there's this other part of me that thinks that there is a missing piece of me. Like someone that I need to love and tell them that everything will be okay. I just haven't found that special person yet. Maybe one day. Shrek's POV. It's been a long 5 years without Fiona. I thought we were doing so well, the two of us. We had 3 kids and a great swamp and great friends. I guess the world is never perfect. Fiona got very sick one day and just passed away in her sleep, I guess. That's how she would have liked it. A soft, painless death. Flashback. Shrek, I don't feel very well. Fiona was laying in bed and had a very raspy voice. I invited Donkey so he could give Fiona company through her struggle while I watched the kids. Fiona called me in, which means that she isn't going to be well for a while. Shrek, I don't know if I'll make it. Don't you dare say that. I promise you everything will be fine. We live in our own world. It's you and me against the whole world. I know people think we're different, but that's okay. We have each other, and that's all that matters. We both started to tear up. I know that everything I said was true. I love her so much, and she means the world to me. I would go to that castle 1,000 times to see that wonderful face I know. Well, it's getting late. We should sleep. Good night, my beautiful Fiona. Good night, my handsome Shrek. And then we drifted into sleep. The next day, I woke up and I saw the beautiful face I know. The problem was, she was cold. Fiona! I tried to see if her heart was still beating. It was dead silent. Fiona was dead, and I could never hear her voice again. End of flashback. I shiver thinking of that feeling. My life is not perfect whatsoever. I ignore my friends still, and I stay in my swamp all the time. I don't even eat onions anymore. I lost all hope. I used to have it all. A beautiful wife that I love the most. Kids that actually stayed with me and not at an orphanage right now. No one would want them because nobody wants an ogre baby. I lost all my friends because they just kept on making me happy. They just gave up on making me happy. Yeah, like I'll be happy again. Now I have nothing. I don't even know what's keeping me alive, though. Maybe I'll find somebody else that will end my darkness and give me life again. Maybe someday. Damn, it's getting sad in here. Okay, we're still on Shrek's point of view. I decided to take a walk in the woods to calm me. I seem to do that a lot now because I get those flashbacks now a lot more than usual. I walked by a tree to calm me down and I started to hear a familiar voice, but I couldn't quite memorize what it was. Then it hit me. Shrek, is that you? A familiar creature come up to me wagging his tail. Donkey. Oh my god, Shrek, I haven't seen you in ages. How have you been? Leave me alone, Donkey. I trotted past him, but I knew I wasn't going to get rid of him that easily. Wait, hold on. I haven't seen you in, like, what, 4 years? And you decide to ignore me? Nuh-uh, that is not how we're gonna do things like that. I just ignored him like I do to everyone else. Guess that's just what I do. Pretty much ignore everyone I know. You know what? Fine. I won't even follow you or talk to you anymore, that's it. Donkey just strutted away. Thank God I got him out of my way. I never really liked him anyway. Sorry, not sorry. Since I was already outside, I decided to go into town. What was the worst that could happen? Psh, everything. I made it to the town and I decided to go to a bar. I sat down and decided to order a drink. There was a person next to me that looked like he had a little too much, if you know what I mean. He had dark brown hair and was very tall. He also seemed to have an accent. Hey, are you Shrek? I'm your biggest fan. The 24-year-old man slurred while having a drink. And what is your name? My name is Dan. I'm pretty high on dank memes right now, if you know what I mean. Ugh, great. He's another weird kid on the internet that thinks that I'm a meme or whatever kids call it these days. If anything, he should be the meme. I dressed up as you for Halloween and my husband was Thor. It was a pathetic costume. For the last time, I'm not your husband. A pale boy with black hair came in, wearing glasses and a plaid shirt. I'm so sorry he's bothering you. Come on, Dan, let's go. I'm so high on the memes. This is the reason why I don't go into town anymore. Was that supposed to be like Dan and Phil? I don't even know Dan and Phil, but I'm assuming that was a Dan and Phil reference. John's POV. I decided that I will go to a bar that night because of my great victory. Of course I will have people notice me because I am John Cena after all. I walked in, and right when I walked in, there was a brown-haired boy and a black-haired boy that looked like they had the same hairstyle. Hey, are you John Cena? The boy with the brown hair and the black shirt asked me. Well, yes, I am. Do you want a picture or something? No, I just want all of your memes. The boy slurred while practically leaning on his friend, or boyfriend, I don't know these days. This is my husband, Phil. For the last time, I'm not your husband. God damn it, you're my boyfriend, remember? Oh, right. Dan then gave Phil a very mouthy kiss right there, so I was correct about the boyfriend thing. I decided to leave those weird lovebirds alone while I sit at the bar and get a drink. As I sat down, I saw the guy sitting next to me. He had green skin and the most brown eyes you could see. They remind me of chocolate. He didn't have any hair like me. His outfit could use a little work. But that didn't matter right now. Hi, so what's your name? I said shyly and stuttering a few times. Oh, my name's Shrek. Shrek. What an uncommon name. I'd rather prefer the uncommon names than the common ones. I actually hate my name. It's way too common. I just don't really like the name John. My name is John. I do like that a lot. I blushed, but I couldn't really show it. God, I'm being such a freak. Probably Shrek hates me right now. I'm just way too awkward and I really can't say anything. I have to go get something. I rushed out of the bar and I started running. I never felt that way before about anyone. I have no idea what's gotten into me. Is this what it feels like to like someone in that way? Did I know I was gay? So many questions. I ended up in a really dark alley and I had nowhere to go. I saw a shadow behind a trash can and I couldn't see who it was. Hey, wanna buy some dank memes? I heard a voice that sounded very strange. The voice started moving closer and closer. I started to see he had blonde hair and a bunch of tattoos on his arms. He showed me a bunch of memes and I didn't know what to say. I've never been in this situation before. I know about meme dealing and how it's bad. I've never seen a meme dealer in my entire life until now. So, what's her name? The name's Pete. Pete Wentz, the figure told me. Hi Pete, my name's John. John Cena. Hello, John. Only for today, I'll give you one free meme. I didn't really know what to say. Well, thanks, Pete. Pete turned back and looked at me surprised, and then he left without saying anything else. Whoosh. Do I want to read it? See, it's telling me I have to sign up when I click to read the next chapter. Maybe I'll take a break from this one for now. I hope you sleep well, Bear. It's a bit of a slower burn. Maybe we can come back to it. I'll see. Oh no, why? Oh my god, why is OBS crashing? I tried to change the title and now it's doing that thing where it's like not responding. Come on, OBS. Please respond. I didn't think I did anything that heavy for it to not respond. That's so weird. It won't let me edit the title or do anything. It's just all stuck on saying not responding. That's so strange. No, I can't close the studio. I don't want to close OBS Studio. Okay, I guess we're using OBS in not responding mode. Yeah, it wouldn't let me read to the next chapter. It said no. Hopefully at one point OBS stops being broken. Because everything else is working, it's just not OBS. Like, I cannot click or change anything in the stream right now, so hopefully I don't have to. Alright, I guess I'll read the next one. I guess I'll read the next one without changing the title. I don't know what the heck is wrong with OBS. It broke so hard. No, Wattpad. Yeah, it's asking you to log in to look at stories. Hi, Rose. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. I'm gonna start reading Life at Pizza Hut, and I'm sorry, just ignore that the wrong title is up there. OBS is not responding right now, so I can't do anything. Silver the Hedgehog walked into Pizza Hut, being applauded by the various customers as he was stretching his arms out. Just for you, walking towards the green counter, seeing Vector the crocodile standing behind it, right by the cash register. It was your typical nice, bright, sunny afternoon. Morning, Vex. Had a good sleep? Silver asked, hovering behind the green counter using his green psychic power, landing on the floor with style. Vector boastfully laughed while patting Silver on the back. Good night's sleep. I always have a good night's sleep, man. Never let your spirit down, even when you relax. He then opened up the cash register, revealing all of the bright green dollar bills, as well as the yellow and silver coins. And I see that we got plenty of money to boot. Silver smiled and got out some pizza dough, preparing to work. Well, every day is like a new beginning. Let's just take it in stride. He then grabbed some of the spices from the cabinets using his psychic power, placing it on the green counter as he planned on using later. Hopefully we'll have a healthy batch of customers to sell these tasty pizzas to. That's the spirit, Vector exclaimed upon nodding his head, giving his approval to Silver, and headed into the office, with Silver making the first new batch of pizzas. Just keep your chin up and do a good job, and then you can do anything. I doubt it. Shadow the Hedgehog scoffed, having some black olives and pepperoni pizza at one of the green tables nearby with Charmy Bee, who was being his usual hyperactive self. Being positive is so much fun. Yay! Charmy cheered and began buzzing around the Pizza Hut with both Vector and Shadow getting a bit annoyed while Silver simply laughed at this. Yep, that's definitely Charmy. Rotor Walrus laughed as he was drinking some water by the water cooler. SBO the Chameleon sighed as he was also alongside Rotor at the water cooler, shaking his head. He never takes a moment to not be perky or obnoxious. Well, I can sympathize with that. Space Ghost laughed, and then he fired off his Destructo Ray at the soda machine. Due to it not working, it caused soda to splash everywhere, soaking Space Ghost, Rotor, and SBO in the carbonated drink. With Rotor and SBO sighing, a Space Ghost chuckled nervously. Looks like I gotta do cleaning duty again. Moltar sighed as he pulled out a mop, shaking his head as usual. What could possibly go wrong? Bubsy the Bobcat stated as he spun around in a rotating chair, being near the drive-thru. Toadette giggled as she... Wait, why is Toadette here? Toadette giggled as she twirled around, placing her hands on her face. Silly Bubsy, everything could go wrong here. That's what makes this place great. If you say so, kid, Dry Bowser remarked as he was munching on a slice of bacon-topped pizza at the counter, the skeletal reptile watching Toadette twirl around as he brushed back his red hair while feeling the pizza go right through his hollow ribs. Why are we even here? Silver was going to comment, but he got hit in the face with a slice of cheese pizza tossed by Charmy, who wanted to mess around even more. Hey Floggy, look at that funny white guy, Big the Cat said as he was having pizza at a table with his pollywog pal Froggy, who simply croaked in response. Sonic the Hedgehog chuckled as he zipped in, showing off various poses as he smirked, placing his hands on his hips. As usual, all the pizzas have been delivered. Did I miss anything good? Oh, Sonic, everything's cooler when you're involved, Amy Rose stated as she smiled, holding her hands together as she let out a deep-pitched, brassy tuba fart. What? Gasping. Yeah. Amy Rose stated as she smiled, holding her hands together as she let out a deep-pitched, brassy tuba fart, gasping as she held down her red dress with her left hand, placing her right hand on her face while blushing red in embarrassment as she let out another bassy poot. Oh my! Excuse me! You always have excuses, Knuckles the Echidna laughed as he was flexing his muscles, noticing that Rouge the Bat was playing around with the Master Emerald, charging right at her. Hey, give me back my emerald. You'll have to catch me first, Rouge laughed as she began flapping her bat wings and flew in the air with Knuckles hitting the slot machines as Rouge laughed. I will never understand you meatbags and your obsessions, E-123 Omega commented as he then inserted a coin into the arcade machine using his arm cannons as ammo due to rigging himself to the system with the arcade game in question involving the tactic of shooting various badniks and other members of Eggman's robots. Wow, that was quite a run-on sentence. Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik sighed as he had both of his hands on his head, sitting at a table by the window with Orbot and Cubot. Why do we still come here? because for someone with an IQ of 300, you're not very bright, Orbot pointed out to Dr. Eggman while looking at the menu for Pizza Hut. Yeah, you make for a dumb leader, Cubot added. He was scarfing down breadsticks alongside slices of other differently topped pizzas. Eggman screamed angrily as he slammed both Cubot and Orbot in the heads, causing them both to recoil as the other badniks squinted their eyes on the scene that Robotnik was making. Miphalios the Dark chuckled as he tapped his crystallized fingertips together, nodding as he was enjoying the chaos. Good. This is splendid. Soon, all of you will be consumed into darkness. Hey, Edgelord, leave the edgy shtick to me, Scourge the Hedgehog interrupted. The hedgehog interrupted as he punched Mephiles in the face, causing the two way past cool hedgehogs hanging on the edge of tomorrow to fight it out on the floor to see who would live and learn between them. Maureen the raccoon burped loudly as she took another sip for Pepsi, courtesy of the Pepsi man. Struth, I just love this place. Well, I personally find it a bit too out of the ordinary, personally, Cream the Rabbit meekly admitted, since she watched several anthropomorphic pizzas walking out of the Pizza Hut, making her eyes widen and she didn't know what to make the weird scene before her. Help! Jane, stop this crazy thing! Storm the Albatross exclaimed, for he went flying about inside the Pizza Hut, his extreme gear board acting haywire once more. Wave the Swallow sighed while walking in, placing her right hand on her forehead while she held her extreme gear in her left hand. Storm, you really have to get a control on that thing. And I need more appearances. I'm tired of being the odd bird out. Jet the Hawk squawked angrily right as Storm bumped into him, the birds going through Station Square, towards the southern direction, with Wave not bothering to chase after them. Melody pianissima, farting in a tube. Melody pianissima farting in a tuba after stuffing herself with pizza was keeping her content and entertained, since she playfully fanned herself of the rotten eggy scents blasting out of her bassy Why? Why is there so many why is everyone farting in this story? Arceus lifted down his newspaper as he was watching all sorts of unusual activity going on, shaking his head as he sighed. Mortals, the objectives they do never cease to entertain me for the wrong reasons. Outside of the Pizza Hut were those familiar dumbbots from AOSTH, the notorious trio of Scratch, Grounder, and Coconuts, all members of the Special Super Special Sonic Team and Smash Squad, or the SSSSS Squad for short. They were all working at Taco Bell, several blocks off the east of Pizza Hut, with them not being as successful as the Pizza Hut. Baha! We're gonna get them good, Scratch stated as he readied a net. Grounder nodded as he had spilled some oil on the pavement. Yeah, we're gonna get them real good. Only if you idiots don't screw up this time, Coconut stated as he had a giant mallet in his hands too, which is precisely why I'm here, so we could get him, or get him. Silver then stepped out of the Pizza Hut while munching on a slice of honey-topped pizza, getting beaten up by Scratch, Grounder, and Coconuts. The three badniks were then sent to the air by Silver, using his green-colored psychic power, the silver-colored telekinesis, powered hedgehog, sighing as he placed his left hand on his forehead. It's never a dull moment around here, Silver chuckled as he took his break, going for a little brief jog towards the western direction as he looked up to see Godzilla looking down at him. Yep, just like Godzilla roared loudly as he fired off his radioactive breath at Silver, who redirected it at some buildings. With his psychic power as he accidentally caused property damage. Silver heard a loud honk. turning his quills-covered head to see the infamous gun truck heading his way as he screamed and took off, with Godzilla shrugging as the giant dinosaur mutant resumed his usual kaiju city destructing as the king of the monsters. Yes, sir, things here at the Pizza Hut in Sonic Adventure 1 Station Square seem to be full of the usual fun activities you would expect out of a pizza-based restaurant, but the beginnings were a lot more humble than what the place has become over time, and thus, on that note, another typical boring day at the Station Square Pizza Hut. Silver the Hedgehog moaned as he looked over at the nearby dartboard, shaking his head as he stretched his arms. Another night wasted on staying overtime. And barely any customers at that. He shook his head in dismay. Man, Vector better have some damn good excuse for this. Vector the crocodile laughed as he exited the kitchen, wrapping his arm around Silver. Ha ha ha. Silver, my boy that sails the ship for dinner. Tonight was an excellent night, am I right or what? Silver pulled Vector's arm off him, glaring at the humanoid crocodile as he was serious. Vector, we only had 15 customers today, and they all purchased the standard pizza with extra cheese. We usually would get 74 customers. Vector shrugged as he opened up the cash register. Not my fault that tonight was Sunday. Besides, it's not like I was in vain. He took out the money, shoving it in Silver's face. After all, look just how much money we've made. Silver continued glaring at Vector, his arms folded as he was still rather upset. Vector, does any amount of money please you no matter how bad the situation is? Vector chuckled nervously, rubbing the back of his head as he placed the money back into the cash register. Well, you know, it's not that bad. I mean, I'd rather have money than no money at all. He laughed heartily as he smashed Silver on the back, nearly knocking the albino hedgehog down as Vector pointed down at him. Anyway, be sure to be ready for tomorrow. It's going to be one hell of a storm, and I want to make sure that you will be in tip-top shape. He whistled as he left the restaurant, turning off all the lights. Silver moaned as he got back up, rubbing his right arm as he growled. That Vector, always cheerful and optimistic. He took his head and he placed his left hand on his forehead. Where did I go wrong? Silver looked at the bright, shiny red roof of the building that housed the only pizza salon in Station Square. He smiled as he formed a fist in his left hand. From this day forth, I will dictate myself to making great pizzas. And I will have lots of fun with it, Silver dramatically declared as he laughed, being tapped on the back. He turned around and looked up slightly to see Vector smiling at him. Hey, a new guy, I'm Vector the Crocodile, the manager of this here Pizza Hut, he stated as he left, pounding his chest with pride. Have you ever been considering in helping me to find the computer room? Silver's eyes widened as he stepped a bit backwards, chuckling nervously. Oh boy. Come on, it'll be fun, trust me. That's not the part that worries me. What? You're concerned that I'll get stuck in the pizza? Well, let's just say that the heat does some things to me on a certain level. Upon remembering how he managed to snag a job as the main worker of the Pizza Hut, Silver slapped himself in the face, heading around the corner and heading out of the Pizza Hut, locking up the restaurant, heading westbound towards his home as he simply sighed. Hoping tomorrow would be a better day as the rain clouds began forming, the rain starting to drip. Little did he know it was only the beginning of something that he did not take for granted. All right, we get it already. Silver complained as he folded his arms, glancing up the stormy sky as his quills were soaked from the pouring rain. And just how did the Sonic Adventure Station Square Pizza Hut get to its current infamous state? Just continue and read on. I'm sorry, chapter 1 out of 1,190 is the wildest shit I've ever heard. There's like almost 1,200 chapters. There's almost 1,200 damn chapters of this thing. Oh my god. Okay. Did anybody else have a fanfic that they wanted me to read? Speak now, or forever hold your peace. I wish my OBS wasn't freaking crashing. I can't click on it anymore. If the first chapter shoved in that many characters, I can only imagine who else got randomly inserted. Oh my god. You look derped as fuck. Why won't... Oh my god, my phone wasn't plugged in and so it died and I'm stuck this way. Yeah, the cable was halfway sticking out of it. It wasn't pushed all the way in, so it's dead. It's dead. Everything is dead. Okay. Does anyone else have a story? It is a funny face. Pause on while I try to fix this. My eyes can't point. Okay, hold on. It booted back up. Oh yeah, we can read chapter 2 of Sonic High School. Let's read chapter 2 of Sonic High School. Just waiting for VTube Studio to stop being stinky. Everything is dying. My headphones, like everything today is just dying. I'm like searching for VTube Studio on my phone and it's saying it doesn't exist. That's how fried everything is. Yeah, I'm gonna read... Let me open up Sonic High School again. I feel like that one was my favorite, so we'll read the second chapter. Okay, perfect. I've got my face movements back. I still can't click anywhere at all on OBS because it's not responding. So we'll just have to leave it, it's frozen. I don't know, I think it might have something to do with my voice mod program that I used for the bleep. Maybe that's causing the issue. Chapter 2, The Prom. The rest of the day for Sonic was awful. So bad that Sonic went home and went right to the bathroom and took a big poop. It was a mad poop because it went out fast. He shooted it out of his butthole so fast that it was like a gun shooting. His poop stunk so much that even the neighbors could smell it, and they all had a meeting at night about what to do about it, and they decided that they would just put fans on outside, and if it started to smell again, they would do something else. What the fuck? So Sonic pooped and went right up into his room and shouted into his pillow. I hate everything! Sonic shouted loud and he heard a knock at his door. What is wrong, Sonic? Asked Sonic's mom. Nothing, said Sonic. Okay, just keep it down because I'm trying to watch the TV, said Sonic's mom to Sonic and left without saying anything else. Sonic was in his room still, so he looked out to the window and saw Tails flying there with flying tails. Sonic, are you okay? I was worried about you, Sonic. Sonic was less mad because Tails was always nice and smart and didn't care that Sonic left his around his room so that he could think about kissing and doing on Amy when he wasn't with Amy. Please be happy, said Tails. Are you there? Sonic went to the window and opened the window. Sonic grabbed Tails and put him on his bed because Sonic is strong too. This day was the worst, said Sonic. Everyone thinks that I'm gay and I'm a loser, all because I gave them my journal. Sonic cried a little, and Tails put his hand under his face to catch his tears. Tears can stain a carpet. Tails hugged Sonic and said, I'm always here for you. The prom is tonight also. Wow, I forgot, said Sonic. Sonic ran to his closet fast and pulled out his prom uniform, it's a tuxedo, and put it on faster. Is our limo here yet, Tails? Said Sonic while looking at Tails. Yes, said Tails right back. Let's go. And Sonic went outside with Tails, who was also in prom clothing, and they went outside and got in the limo. The limo is broken, said the limo driver, who looked like a person. Sonic and Tails got out of the limo and asked the limo driver if they could fix it. Nope, the limo was broken eternally, said the limo driver. So Sonic grabbed Tails' hand and said, let's go, and ran all the way to the prom, which was on an island called Ghost Island. This place is scary, said Tails. Ghost Island was really scary. It was shaped like a skull and everything looked like it was dead. Sonic looked at Tails. Yeah, it is, said Sonic. Why would you put the prom on this island, said Tails. I don't see anyone else from the school here. Tails and Sonic were both worried about it. Were both worried about it at all. Tails and Sonic walked forward where there was a haunted house. Tonic and Tails went into the haunted house and it was spooky. Sonic saw a ghost and Tails saw a mummy. There was a man laughing. Ha 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 ha, Sonic and Tails, now you are both here and fallen right into my trap, said a man laughing. The man looked fat, immature, and it was Eggman. Eggman, why are you here? Said Sonic and shouted at Eggman. Are you here for the Chaos Emeralds? Sonic shook his fists at Eggman and Tails ran at him, but what an idiot, because a cage fell down from the top of the sky and trapped Tails. You are doomed now, said Eggman. Welcome to a graveyard of you. Sonic was chopped. Sonic was shocked, but did not run forward because he did not want to get caught. But what if Eggman did not have another cage? Sonic did not know, so he went to the side into a different room. This room was smaller and had carpets and wallpaper. It was still scary, though. Sonic said, I need to find a way out to save Tails, and he walked into a door that was on the next wall. Next thing, said Sonic, and he came out of the room into the same room he was in. This is a haunted house, so you always come back to the same place, said Sonic, thinking of a famous saying that he saw once on the wall of a Walgreens where it was written. Eggman laughed and pointed at Sonic. I kissed Amy. And now, you can never date her ever again, because I am going to do to her tonight. No, this cannot be real, said Sonic. Sonic knew that he had to do something. But what? What is happening? Oh my god. That... Huh? Do we continue? Do we continue? Do we want to know what happens? That's a good question. I don't know if Amy really has much commentary. No, Amy said like one thing, I think, in the first chapter. We'll probably regret it, but yes. Okay. We're in too deep now, chat. Chapter 3, The Two Most Important People. Sonic ran the fastest right to Dr. Eggman, right through his traps, and jumped to the floating platform that Eggman was standing on. I'm coming for you, said Sonic, and he jumped up, right to the platform and got so close, but he fell because it was just too high to reach even for Sonic. Sonic said, "Damn!" and ran up the staircase that was in the middle of the big room that were under Eggman. Sonic ran to the top, and at the top he jumped again from a higher spot, and at this time he reached the platform because it was easier to get to. "Now you're mine!" shouted Sonic right to Eggman, right in his ear. "I am not going to fall this easily," said Eggman, who then grabbed a crystal remote control out of his pocket and pressed a button on it that made a dome of lasers around Eggman. "Get out of here," yelled Eggman. "I am Eggman, and I will have my way with the treasures of this island," said Eggman. Eggman flew up higher on his platform, and Sonic had already fell from the lasers that were on the floating platform, so Sonic didn't get to go too. Eggman disappeared into a purple and black portal at the top of the ceiling, and Sonic was just left at the bottom of the room on the middle of the stairs. "Amy still has to be here somewhere, and I need to get Tails out of that locked cage," said Sonic, thinking about what he should do next. Sonic ran up the stairs really fast and down the hallway, and at the top of the stairs on the second floor, Sonic picked a door and ran into the door. The room Sonic ran into had a big picture of an old man on it, and he just looked so old that it was like seeing a skeleton right there. Sonic said, "This man probably died ages ago and left all his money from being in real estate to his sons who build this place." Sonic thought this was not the right room to be in, so he left, and he went to the next room. This was the right room to be in, Sonic knew immediately. There was a big red bed. There was a big red bed, and Amy was tied with rope around her feet and hands, and she could not say anything at all. Sonic ran right to the bed without doing anything before that and untied Amy with his sonic speed. "I am so glad that you're here," said Amy. "This prom is not turning out like I hoped it would be when I bought this dress." Amy was wearing a pretty red dress that was just like what she would normally wear but longer, and there were 2 flowers on the 2 shoulders. Amy's dress also made her boobs look bigger, Sonic noticed. Sonic thought for just a moment this was the perfect moment to get her to give to him, but he did not do it because Tails still needed help. "Where's the key to open Tails' cage?" said Sonic to Amy. "We need to open Tails' cage. He can't get out of the cage." "I saw Eggman putting a key in a safe behind the picture in the room you were just in," said Amy. "So let's go get it." Amy and Sonic ran to the next room, and Sonic got there first. He is the faster one in the relationship. Sonic punched his big, strong hand right through the painting like a bodybuilder, then found the safe behind the painting. "The safe needs a password," said Sonic. "What could it be?" Sonic thought long and hard about everything he knew about Eggman. Sonic knew Eggman was a asshole. who always ruined Sonic's plans to be the hero, and now he ruined Sonic's prom. Sonic tapped on his brain and thought harder. "Maybe the password is his name," said Amy. It was not, and Sonic knew it before Sonic put it into the safe lock. "I love her for her body," thought Sonic. Sonic thought harder and had an idea. What if the password is Aseoxclerme? Finally shouted Sonic at Amy next to him. Amy was there, who said, "What does that mean?" Amy, Sonic's girlfriend, was confused. "It is Chaos Emeralds backwards. What he really wants, but it's messed up and we would not guess it," screamed Sonic, so happy. Sonic typed the password into the safe, and would you know it, it popped open and there was a big key. So Sonic took it. Sonic ran down the stairs, and then Amy did, and then Sonic opened up Tails' cage, and Tails got out. Tails got out. He's out now. "I'm so glad to be the safe one again. Thank you, Sonic. This day is saved." Tails was smiling bigger than a crocodile, having a silly dream, but Sonic was not. "What is wrong, Sonic? Everything is fine now." "No, it isn't." Sonic was so mad. Eggman got away without a real punishment for what he did. Sonic shook his face at the sky, thinking about how Eggman slipped away like a slippery balloon that Sonic let go of. But we're all safe, Amy said. That's what really matters. Sonic figured right then that Amy's superpower must be being nice, because he knew before that it wasn't being smart, which Tails was best at and Sonic is also good at too. Sonic did not even think about how his day at school was bad anymore, because it did not really even itch that much anymore. Sonic laughed, Tails laughed, Amy laughed, and they went home ready for the next day of high school. I hate this. I hate this story. I want to find the person who wrote this, and I just want to ask them why. I just want to ask them why they did this to us. How do you come up with this? I don't know. I mean, when I was in like the 9th grade, I wrote like this, so I get it. I wrote I don't know how many chapter long self-insert Naruto fanfic with my friend, and we still have a hard copy printout of it. It no longer exists anywhere on the internet, but we just have a printout of it. And sometimes it comes out for live table reads, because it really is that bad. It really is that terrible. I hope I didn't lose it. I think it's in my closet. But I get it. I fully get how you come up with this. This is the stuff. If they're like 14 or 15 years old, this is the shit I would write. Slams credit card on table. You're never getting a live script read of my Naruto self-insert fanfic. I'm sorry. It's so bad too. It's literally just a script. It's just like character's name and then what they're saying and then next character's name and what they're saying. It is literally a script. Only a literary genius could come up with this. I'm taking a look at the next chapter. We're not crowdfunding that. I wrote that with a person who I feel like would not be okay with it being read online. I don't think she would appreciate it. Chapter 4, Getting a Date. Sonic did like in the first chapter and went to school again. Now it's lunchtime and Sonic was in the lunchroom. Sonic was telling all of the people at his table, who were Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, Espio, and Charmy Bee, about what did happen yesterday, but Tails already knew, so he was nodding his head like a good friend. "Oh, you should have seen it," said Sonic. "I was in the haunted house and I shot Eggman, but I let him get away right before I could have killed him." Sonic laughed and Tails laughed at the same time. Knuckles said, "You should stop going on these cool adventures, because high school is more important," said Knuckles. And Sonic knew he was right, because it's called Sonic High School and it should be more about the high school part. So Sonic asked them all what they're up to. "Well, I am entering the science competition," said Tails. "To win the science competition, I have to come up with the best invention, and my invention is this invisibility hat. It makes you invisible, but I can't do it right now because I have to make sure it works perfect for the science competition." Tails was so smart, and Sonic knew he'd win the science competition because Tails is like Einstein. "Nerd!" shouted Knuckles right into Tails' ear. "What a bad guy." "I'm just hanging out and not going to class because I want to cause trouble," said Knuckles. Knuckles was so bad that he would cause trouble. Sonic thought that Knuckles was a fuck. Shadow was next, and he was badder than Knuckles, but in a different way. "I'm not going to be around much longer," said Knuckles. He always did. At the end of what he was saying, because it was mysterious. "Where are you going?" said Tails, because he was curious. "I am going to kill my parents," said Shadow. See, this is how Shadow is worse than Knuckles. He did serious bad things. At least at the end of the day, Knuckles could sleep. Shadow was too dark for that. I'm going to go try out for the football team, said Espio. Espio was athletic like Sonic, but not as fast, but he had a horn in his nose that was good for attacking people in front of him, so Sonic thought that he would be good at football. I'm gonna go try out for the play, said Charmy Bee. Charmy Bee was loud and singing always. You're in. You should do great, said Knuckles. Do not hurt my feelings, said Charmy. Charmy was used to being hectored, so he was able to remove himself from his potent fury. Did you see Rouge just now? Said Espio. She's looking so hot in her tiny. Espio obviously wanted to kiss her. You should ask her out, said Sonic. But the prom was yesterday, said Espio. Well, that's okay. You can date anytime. Oh, said Espio. Well, then I'm going to kiss and sex her tonight. Espio was like a little boy looking at his mom's boob for the first time. Sonic and Tails together were both looking at each other and wanted to help Espio. We are going to help you get a date, said Sonic and Tails at the same time simultaneously, and we're gonna do it right now, said Sonic and Tails. Sonic and Tails got up and both grabbed one of Espio's arms and dragged him across the room. Sonic did most of the dragging because he's stronger and put him right at Rouge. What is this about? Said Rouge with a questioning sound. She blinked her eyelids quickly like a race car. What do you want? Why are you here? Espio looked right into her eyes with a passion like 100 barking dogs and said, Rouge, will you go out with me? Espio was sweating, and there were drops of sweat dropping off his hands in front of her. I don't know, said Rouge and looked at Espio. Rouge gave him a sexy look that made Espio feel in love. Please do it, said Sonic and Tails together at the same time. Okay, we can go on a date tonight, said Rouge. Sonic and Tails and Espio were stoked and high-fived right there. By the time this night ended, one of them would have done their very first. Now there's the hard part. But how do I do without getting in trouble? Sonic and Tails looked at each other and thought, uh-oh. And Espio walked out while holding on to Rouge's because they are now boyfriend and girlfriend and it's allowed to do it. I don't fucking think so. I don't think so. That is not how that works at all. That is not how that works at all. I beg the author's finest pardon. No, I feel like it's just gonna continue to get worse. My god. I'm distressed. Yeah, they were holding hands. It was her hand. It was absolutely 110% her hand. Oh my god. My brain is rotted. This fig is so lewd. It's so lewd. I can't. I didn't expect it to be this lewd. So suggestive. It's a good thing that I flagged my stream for suggestive content. It's even worse than I heard it to be. My god. Okay, there's like 25 chapters. They just didn't take the hint, they just kept going. Sorry, I'm just reading more of the next part. It went from bad to absurdly awful. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect in each chapter now. I feel like anything happens. I feel like anything can happen. I can either continue this one, or if anybody has another one they want to suggest, I'm also open to reading other things too. Yeah, I think we're at a point where anything goes with this awful story. Like, there's really nothing off the table. Good thing I have a handy dandy button. Oh my god, I cannot believe this story. Oh, you wanted me to check something on Discord? Oh my god, did my eyes actually look like that, or did you Photoshop them? That's so mean. Yes, that's not nice. It's bullying. He made my face look silly. He made a picture of me making a funny face. It was an accident. My phone died, so I looked funny, and it wasn't my fault. Absolutely rude. Okay. Okay, well, if no one has any other suggestions, I'm gonna read chapter 5. Chapter 5. It was at the end of the day at school, and it was time that Sonic and Tails and Knuckles got back on the bus at the bus stop to board it all the way home from school. "We are on the bus now," said Tails. "No more classes." Tails was happy, but sad because he is smart. Sonic and Tails sat down together, and Knuckles sat right in the middle of the aisle, which he usually did not do, but sometimes did when not everyone was on the bus. It looked like Espio and Rouge were not on the bus because they were too busy getting ready to go tonight, now that they are boyfriend and girlfriend. Knuckles laid across the aisle, even more stretched out than when he had just sat across 2 seats, because now the limits were the Alpha and the Omega. "How can we help Espio?" said Sonic to Tails. Tails responded, "I don't know," and thought about it on the bus. The bus drove bumpy on the bumpful roads all the way home, and they all got out at the bus stop that they normally get in on the bus at, just like always. Sonic ran out of the bus, and then Tails and Knuckles in order. "Time to go home," said Tails. "We're almost there." And they walked the rest of the way to home. When they got home, it was dinner time, and Sonic was at a different home from Tails and Knuckles because they were all in different families, so they did not live together, and Sonic's mom made a dinner. It held a magical fortune in it. Sonic looked at the fortune and read it to himself inside of his head. "The path to glory begins at the base of your friend's," said Sonic inside of his head, reading the fortune cookie paper, and he knew it was a good sign for what was about to happen tonight when Espio and Rouge went to. When the phone rang, Sonic ran to the phone and picked it up and said, "Hello," into it. It was Tails. "I have an idea," said Tails on the phone to Sonic, who was listening but not speaking. "I can give Espio my invisibility hat for the science competition, and he can use it to do for Rouge." Sonic smiled so wide, like the King of Fire finding out he burned down New York City with only his fire powers. Sonic and Tails went to Espio's house later, which was not easy to walk to normally for most people, but Sonic is super fast, so he ran there and helped Tails get there too. Seeing as Tails is not as fast as Sonic, they knocked on the house and Espio came out of the door. "Here's my invisibility hat that you can use with Rouge tonight to make in. It makes it invisible to see and impossible to hear when you are wearing the hat, or someone who is wearing the hat wants you to also be impossible to see and impossible to hear, screamed Tails, whose voice was a little hoarse from ordering food with the lunch lady whose hearing was lost in an earthquake in her childhood. Tails had to say the things that he wanted so loud that she would say, "What?" And Tails wondered why she even had ears if she wasn't going to use them. Espio grabbed the invisibility hat from Tails' hands and said, "Cool, thanks," and kept going, so Sonic and Tails left and wished him luck far away from their own homes. Back at home, Sonic thought that it would be good that Espio would get into Rouge so that he could explain it to Sonic, and Sonic would know how to find Amy's spots even better, because otherwise he would have to read about it online, because all he knew about was kissing, which really wasn't, but it was probably kind of the same thing, and Sonic would just read about it online before talking about it anyway, and he would know the right words for the right things then. Sonic sat on his chair that was in front of his Sonic computer and opened up Sonic Instant Messenger and messaged Amy, who was doing the same thing but at her home, and he said, "Hey Amy, want to finally become true boyfriend and girlfriend by reaching this weekend?" Sonic waited for a long time at his computer, and it seemed like Amy was not there because she did not respond to anything. Sonic played games online and beat all the final bosses because he was like an alien sent to Earth to destroy records set by others. Then finally Amy responded. What Amy said was, "No way!" Sonic was so shocked. His brain must have felt like a total idiot. My brain... Oh my god, the next chapter is so gross. Make that image raise major profile picture. That's not a, but... Okay, maybe later I'll make it for like 24 hours or something. I need some chocolate milk to soothe these new mental scars. And a lot of vodka, I hear you. I'm gonna be having dreams about this story. It's kind of rough. I think I might only have like one more chapter in me. We'll see. This one looks really bad. Espio walked to Rouge's house because it was time for their date together. And all Espio could think about was that they were about to make the first time. Espio looked at the computer and read about what to do and what the right words were so he would know how it worked and how to say it right so that no one would make fun of him. It was Rouge's house that he was at now, and it was in front of him. Espio knocked Rouge's house door. "I hope she is home," said Espio, and she was, and she opened the door. "Hello, I'm home," said Rouge, looking always so in her what? I'm just gonna say her bra and her big cool boobs. Espio thought she looked like the hottest woman in the world that he could see from here. "Where are you taking me on our date tonight?" whispered Rouge in a filled voice. Espio had thought this one over on the way over so that he could say it right the first time and get her to and get what he wanted, which was "Well," said Espio, "just let me put on this science hat and we will begin." Rouge looked shocked, but she probably was excited too. Espio could tell that they both had an action. "What?" said Rouge in a shocked way. "Right here?" Espio said. "Yes. This hat was made by Tails specifically for our date. It makes it impossible to see and impossible to hear while I'm wearing it." Espio did a cool face at her because being smart can be cool too, as long as you're not a nerd ass. Rouge said, "Okay, let's go inside," and gently grabbed Espio's hand and pulled it backwards, and she fell, causing him to fall, and they both together fell onto the grass, where they rolled around in it until they were about on the middle of Rouge's house's front lawn, and there was plenty of room around them for activities. "No," said Espio, "I want to make in you right here," and SBO put on the invisibility hat so no one could see or hear them, and a whole new world of possibilities were open to them so that they could do in any way that they wanted, and it was time to start right now. SBO revealed his to Rouge, who looked at it. Rouge said, "Cool," and took out her vagina. SBO's was really big from looking at Rouge, like when he is in church, and it is so boring, but you just get up anyway. Rouge's looked like a surprised ghost. Looked like a what? It looked like a what? SBO's approached Rouge like a plane flying down at the airport, but instead of being full of businessmen, it was full of I'm not saying any of that. Here it comes, cried SBO, ramming his mauve Avenger into Rouge's scream, and SBO messed around with like she was the X-Men arcade game. He slapped his big awesome from side to side in her like a hot dog windshield wiper, and Rouge was ripping grass from the lawn. What? What the fuck am I reading? Then SBO used his tail to flip her over. He can do this. And put his into her. He moved his in her like he was building a golf course and digging out the back nine. Rouge was flapping her bat wings like an idiot and not flying because SBO was holding on to her and pressing them with his fingers and leaving marks that looked like it said, "Wow," when combined with the where her is, and that's what she felt because SBO seemed to be a professional. SBO used his tail again to flip her over and did all-star things like using his like a rolling pin on her face and plugging his into her belly button to see how far it would go and making a hurricane while swirling his and her. Finally, they both got so that SBO's and but nobody could see them, so it was okay. And at that part, SBO screamed, "It's time." And Rouge shouted, "Create a generation in me." SBO. And that was what happened. Now that they were done doing, they put their and away, and SBO took off the invisibility hat like nothing ever happened, but they both know it did because they were there for it. "Bye-bye," said SBO, and SBO walked off her property and away to his house and did the rest of his things until school happened the next day. I don't think I can read anymore after that. Oh my god. That's very fair. I'm not publishing this VOD. Hey, I flagged vulgarity, I flagged sexual content, I flagged everything for this stream. I think it'll probably be fine, but I'm probably not gonna publish the VOD. Oh my god. I think we're gonna stop there. I think we're gonna stop there. If anybody else ever is brave enough to read that story, I would love to know your feelings on it. How is the weather? The weather's good. The weather's great. I'm just gonna quickly switch my tags back to wholesome and pretend like nothing ever happened. That was really... Wait, what's blue Twitch? I don't know what blue Twitch is. I still can't click anything on OBS because it crapped itself and died. Wow, this was probably the most cursed fan fiction I've ever read. Congratulations. Oh, people call it the blue Twitch. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That means I can still be here. I was unaware, so maybe I can still be here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to read the rest of this fanfic on Fansly or something. Oh my god. No, you're totally okay. I was aware of what I was reading and I bleeped what I thought appropriate. Yeah. I think that was definitely the funniest fanfic I read. As horrible as it was at the same time. I'm so sorry. I had a good time. I had a good time reading all of this extremely cursed literature. Now that's the content that I subscribed for. Oh my god. The first chapter or two was bad, but it wasn't to this level. You've inspired me to go and dig up even worse fanfics. I'm not gonna read them on stream, but I just gotta know how far the bad fanfiction pipeline goes. If we find a fanfic worse than this, it's an accomplishment. I'll let you know if I find a worse one. I'll let you know. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I know My Immortal is a pretty bad one. It has a lot of stuff in it I would have to bleep. Yeah, this is written. No, yeah. My Immortal is definitely not as bad as the Sonic one. F Anime on YouTube back in the golden days is also really good. Yeah, Ray's did submit something, but then he deleted it. He's like, oh, actually, maybe this isn't appropriate. Oh my god. Well, that was something. I think I read something from everybody who suggested. You wanted to submit a Hollow Knight one, but you feared spoilers because we're technically not far into the story yet. Oh, yeah, I completely understand. I completely understand. We're getting so close to having me figure it out for myself. How do I turn this voice thingy off? Okay, that's better. I do not like hearing myself to that degree. Oh, never mind, Race. Sonic High School was pushing limit and then some. I feel like Sonic High School was like, it ended up being our worst fanfic of the evening. It's okay, there were some funny parts. If Raze retracts something, even the gods get scared. It's so true. If something upsets Raze, then what is it? What could it possibly be? Well, what are we doing tomorrow, guys? Tomorrow's Hollow Knight. Tomorrow's gonna be our Hollow Knight stream. And then we're doing more ASMR on Sunday. I'm so sorry to everyone who came in and thought this was an ASMR stream tonight. I hope you can forgive me if you're still here. I was very, very obvious in the title, though. I made sure I was very obvious in the title. No, you delivered. You delivered on the promise, Lunar. Don't apologize. Thank you for submitting some cursed fanfics. Can I send you an uber small one? Yeah, sure, if you still have one. I'll read it. I was just looking at potential raid targets. What is this? Sexy vegan. Shirk X Shadow. Shirk sat in a chair at an IKEA selling people furniture. Then he saw him. Shadow Daddy. Shirk looked at him and his ugly wife SpongeBob. Shadow say Shirk and flicked his eyes to a bathroom and went inside. Shirk went in after. Shirk pinned Shadow's long noodle arms above his head, pinning him to a wall. You know I work here. Why did you come? Shirk yelled. Shadow began to anime girl cry. Shirk, I'm pregnant with our children, he said in loud cries. Shirk slowly put Shadow down and rubbed one of his green sausage fingers on Shadow's cheek. I'm sorry, baby. I'll get over this for you and our babies, Shirk said, kissing Shadow. Then Shirk ate Shadow's cupcake. 1 year later, Shadow gave birth to twin boys Jack Paul and Logan Paul, and then Shirk and Shadow lived happily ever after. Why the fuck you sent me that? Ugh. No, there were no widget issues. To my knowledge, Lerp, everything's still working fine. You must have dreamed it up. I think it's all good. I think there's still no issues. Give me a second, I'm gonna see who's online. I'm gonna have to do the raid through my... I can't do it through OBS right now. It is bad. Let's raid Kyle. Kyle is playing 007 First Light. If I can get back to my channel so I can raid from it. There we go. I don't know why OBS is just not responding. It's never done that to me before, but... There we go. We're gonna raid Kyle. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out during this absolutely cursed stream. I hope nobody has any nightmares. I will be back tomorrow for some Hollow Knight, and I'll see you guys then. Take care, everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow. And have an amazing rest of your nights, okay? Night night. Bye bye. Alright, OBS isn't responding, so I can't switch scenes or press the... I'm just gonna press the raid button now. Good night, everybody.